All right, guys, I haven't talked about Tom Ford in ages, and I'm doing a video here to let you know about some really awesome deals online on Tom Ford fragrances. So it's almost Thanksgiving. Well, is it Thanksgiving? It's Thanksgiving, and I wasn't sure what day I was going to air this video. So it's almost Black Friday, so there's going to be deals happening, but the deals have started now, and I've got some great fragrances to talk to you about from Tom Ford, and also tell you a little bit about Oud Voyager, which I never reviewed. I'm actually also anticipating the new Tom Ford called Fig Erotique, which obviously will not be on this list. But Oud Voyager just came out a couple months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, somewhere around there, and it's at the discounters currently, so I'm going to let you know what it's all about. So the discount on this is 50 ml for $275, or a tester at 50 ml for $200. So it's a good price. To me, when I first smelled this, I thought it was Oud and Rose combo, but they're giving us the rosiness with peony and geranium. So in the end, it's oud, which is uber masculine, and I feel like they're accomplishing a bit of a femininity in the fragrance with the overdose of the peony. And the fact that the geranium provides that kind of green rosy aromatic touch combined with the peony, it smells like rose. It smells like a rose oud combo. Tom Ford had a fragrance called Oud Fleur at one time. It had launched with Tobacco Oud, the rebranding of Oud Wood, and of course Oud Fleur. That's no longer. So I think this is the kind of rose oud combo fragrance that Tom Ford currently has, and perhaps that kind of style is coming back. That's why they've launched this. But let me know your thoughts. Are you familiar with this one? Do you enjoy it? Now, there is something in the collection that also has oud, but it's not known to be as an oud rose combo. It's Noir de Noir, one of my favorite fragrances from the house. We'll get to that in a little bit. But just to reiterate the price on the Oud Voyager, it's 50 ml, $275, or $200 for the 50 ml in a tester format. So, Noir Extreme Parfum happens to be one of my favorite signature collection fragrances from Tom Ford. I was a big fan of the original Noir Extreme. Now I'm a fan of the Parfum because it's super concentrated. And this is currently really discounted at a great price for $157 for 100 ml. And normally this sells for $300. $300 for 100 ml in the Parfum concentration. So it's super strong. It's taking the original, which I'll get to in a little bit as well, and making it super, super beastly. Thick, dense, zingy, spicy, ginger, cardamom, amber, vanillic notes together, maybe some woods and stuff like that. But it's super sexy. One of the best from Tom Ford, created by Sonia Constant, who has her own perfume line called LFSGQUESTIONS, working at Givaudan. So this is a Givaudan creation. I'm not sure who the perfumer is behind Oud Voyager, but definitely Tom Ford's Tom Ford's Noir Extreme Parfum is super awesome. I really love it, and that price is really great for the Parfum concentration in 100 ml. But there is the Eau de Parfum, the original, which is a lighter concentration. It's not as dense and thick and sticky like the previous, so you might not be into the heavier fragrances. But come on, everybody is into heavy fragrances, right? No, I know not everybody. My sister is not into it. She likes light skin scents because she's a nurse. But it's funny also, going from the Parfum, which is one of my favorites, to the Eau de Parfum, it comes off a bit weak, but eventually it opens up, because I think the Parfum doesn't have a lot of the top notes, and what we get with the Eau de Parfum when you first spray it are the top notes, so it's hardly there. But once this is developing, it'll remind you of the Parfum. But this is the first fragrance in the series, and it's still great. I absolutely love it. It's kind of a gourmand-esque fragrance, but there's a lot more freshness with the Eau de Parfum, which currently you can get 150 ml for $184, or the 100 ml for $130. So $130 is a great price for this, but if you have like another $27, get the Parfum. It's so much more intense. I love that about it. But this is one that you must must have in your collection. I don't think this is widely distributed by Tom Ford, but it keeps ending up at the discounters. Tom Ford's Noir, one of the best men's fragrances ever created. Hands down, super, super awesome fragrance. In fact, the series started with Noir, then it went to the Noir in Eau de Toilette with the white frosted bottle. Then we got Noir Extreme. Then we got Noir Anthracite. Then we got Noir Extreme Parfum. So the evolution of the Noir series for men. But this stuff, to me, is kind of like a cross between Amber Pour Homme by Prada in the Eau de Parfum concentration, maybe a little bit of Habit Rouge, maybe a little bit of Narciso Rodriguez for him, the original. All of these, maybe a little bit of Musk Ravageur, because there's a muskiness here as well. All of these kind of fragrances come to mind with this. It's such an awesome scent. It's too bad. Maybe it's a bit polarizing because it can get a bit musky, and maybe that's what turned people off. But I love this. It's so good, so good. It's just it's musky, spicy. It's sweet and ambery. There's vanillic notes. There's spices in here for sure. Woods. Very, very classy, gentlemanly fragrance that's got a little funk that doesn't bother me because it smells great. If you can get your hands on Tom Ford's Noir EDP, 100 ml, 134, get it right away. I don't know how long this fragrance will be around. I just don't know. It's such a great scent. You got to have this in your collection, especially if you love classy, gentlemanly fragrances. So the next fragrance is Noir de Noir. Totally one of the best fragrances ever created in the world of perfumery. I absolutely love this fragrance. For a while early on in my journey, probably 2 years after I started doing videos, so around 2014, I had a big, large decanter bottle like this, and I would wear this fragrance everywhere. My collection wasn't as big, and I was kind of a newbie, and the designer, luxury collections were really some of the best fragrances out there. So compliments also came in with this fragrance, and it was, an amazing, it's still an amazing scent. I absolutely love it. And so it's rose, and there's oud, there's oak moss, so it's a bit chypre-like, but there's a creamy, velvety smoothness about it. It has the note of, what do you call it? Oak moss, I said. Patchouli, I said. Truffles. That's the word I was thinking of. Like truffles, not the kind that's sweet, but the kind that grows underground, like mushrooms. It has that note in there. So it's got this earthy, mushroomy quality about it. But that's kind of more for blending it together, not for it to stand out. Although, if your nose is sensitive, you'll pick it up for sure. But the whole entire concoction, hands down, one of the best. And it also has the oud in there, apparently. But I wouldn't consider this an oud fragrance, an oud focused fragrance. It's just so good. Really, really awesome scent. So the Noir de Noir currently in a 50 ml is $210, in 100 ml is $300. But normally they're at least double the price of that. So these discounts, I mean, these are private blend collection fragrances. These are part of the more expensive, exclusive collection of fragrances, the luxuries. So they are going to be priced higher. But I think if you love rose, and it's not like your traditional like jammy rose that's rose. The rose is blended and made into this dark kind of, vampire-y kind of rose. It's just got this whole darkness about it. And I wouldn't look at the rose and say, this is this big, bright, beautiful rose. It's a kind of a dark, almost like maroon colored dark rose. Maybe something dark like that. That's kind of how I envision that fragrance. So more like a maroon wine colored rose rather than this beautiful, big, jammy pink rose, if that makes sense. But also, this has got to be mentioned. This is Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford, one of the best fragrances ever created. And Tobacco Vanille and Noir de Noir, they've never done any flankers of. They've done flankers of Tuscan Leather, Oud Wood, Tobacco Oud. I'm waiting for some flankers of these two fragrances. But still, I think Tobacco Vanille is one of the best fragrances. Still, I've just been featuring it in some videos. I can never get tired of the smell. It's so good. Spicy, woody. It's a Thanksgiving Day fragrance. Yes, today's Thanksgiving. So Tobacco Vanille, if you don't know it, check it out. It is selling 50 ml for $210, 100 ml for $388. So the prices are a bit different, but because of the prices, you can tell which is more popular. There's more better deals for the Noir de Noir, obviously. So it's not as popular as the Tobacco Vanille. And I find better deals all the time with Noir de Noir in comparison to Tobacco Vanille. So I assume that it's the one that, sells a lot more than Noir de Noir. So anyway, definitely worth checking out if you don't know Tobacco Vanille. It's a great scent. I really love it. And to me, it smells like the holidays because it's got warm spices and, like clovey, cinnamony, maybe a bit gingery spices with the tobacco and the vanilla together. It's hands down awesome. So I'm going to talk about the next two fragrances, which are flankers of one another, Ombre Leather and Ombre Leather Parfum. And in this case, Ombre Leather, 100 ml for $184. But the Parfum edition is less expensive. It's $165. I think the original is the better one, personally. And I feel like, I don't know why they freshened it up, because it has, the Parfum has the violet leaves note. It comes off fresher to me, and it doesn't come off as intense as the original, Ombre Leather. So it was kind of a reversal role, the way they did it, whereas the same perfumer, Sonia Constant, did the Ombre Leather that she did with these two as well, the Noir Extreme. In this case, the Noir Extreme versus Noir Extreme Parfum. The Parfum is so much more thicker, denser, concentrated. But in the Ombre Leather case, I think the original is better for me in comparison to the Parfum. And again, you might like something a bit fresher, so you might go with the Parfum, but I personally, like I said, prefer the other. But what is this all about? I already mentioned that the Parfum has the violet leaves. It's ozonic, so it's got this crisp freshness. But behind it all, it's leathery. There's a leather note in here. It's a bit ambery, it's spicy, and all that good stuff. But same thing with the Ombre Leather. If you're familiar with the Tuscan Leather, it's kind of similar to it, but changed around. In fact, Ombre Leather came out as a private blend collection fragrance, and private blend collection, I think it was in 2016, and it was at some kind of a fashion show. It was like selling or announced there, I think in New York City, and then it was part of the private blend collection, and then they removed it from the private blend collection. It was the first fragrance that they brought a private blend collection to the signature line. I think it's still popular. It's probably one of the best leather fragrances out there, and definitely deserves to be in your collection if you are a fan of leather fragrances. Again, the original is $184 for 100 ml. The Parfum is $165 for 100 ml. And then we've got a fragrance called Cafe Rose. And I had just bought I went through a decanter bottle a long time ago, like probably around 2015, maybe a little before, Cafe Rose in that. And I still have a bottle of it in the private blend, but they moved it into the signature line. And I'm not smelling these fragrances. Do you want me to smell these on camera for you? Some of them I will, that I don't know as much as the others, like this Cafe Rose. I think they changed up the Cafe Rose a little bit, but Cafe Rose was about coffee and rose together. So I feel like there's also spices in there. A lot of spices. This is not as, like the idea might be similar to Intense Cafe, but it's not as creamy as that. And this is also a lot more coffee. It's dry, and there's peppery touches as well. So I think they brought out a bit more rose with this version as well in comparison to the version in the private blend. So Cafe Rose, 100 ml for $129. It's not Parfum, it's a Eau de Parfum concentration, just like the Noir Extreme, the original. I think it's fun if you like the idea of rose and coffee and spices together. And the spices are more peppery spices, not like holiday spices like tobacco vanille. But still, I think it matches the rose quite nicely. Now, the next fragrance is a bit polarizing. 100 ml for $152 for Oud Mineral. This is the new version, not in the private blend. I have a bottle of it in the private blend. This was actually a fragrance I despised, but I kind of somehow got into it after a while. But at first, it was really nauseating. It was overly marine. Yeah, it's algae. But for me, the new version is not as good as the original. And I had heard something about the original in the private blend had something toxic in it. Is that true? Does anybody know this? Some comments I received. Maybe it's not true. But I think maybe that's why they brought it here. Although I think fragrances sometimes don't sell as much in a private blend, but they find that it's a really quality offering. So they might, bring it onto the signature line. It's a less expensive fragrance and all that good stuff. And it might sell better. It's not as bad as it used to be. Like for me, I was very, very sensitive to these kind of fragrances before. Very nauseating before. It's nice, but it's not a fragrance I gravitate towards much. So Oud Mineral, $152 for 100 ml. Then we've got Black Orchid Parfum, 100 ml for $175. It's not the Reserve. The Reserve is amazing, guys. That's probably one of the better offerings from Tom Ford. And also, Orange Taormina was supposed to come out in June this year, but it never did. I wonder why. But it is on the horizon. I was asking some Tom Ford, associates at the department stores recently, and it is on the horizon to come out next year. But right now they're launching Fig Erotique, and I don't know when that's going to be available to purchase. But I think the Parfum over the original version of Black Orchid is better for me, and I think the Reserve even is more luxurious. I love the Reserve, but that's not available at the discounters because it's definitely brand spanking new, and there's a lot of hype going for that fragrance. You can catch my video on the Reserve edition of Black Orchid. But to me, the Black Orchid Parfum is a bit boozy and fruity, but it's keeping the DNA of the original. It's got patchouli, it's got ambery notes, maybe some vanillic notes. It's the orchid note, but it's interesting. Some people say that the orchids don't have a smell. I actually smelled some orchid that have some faint smells. So I don't know how they would. I think it's an accord they create for this particular orchid. Or maybe they're using, I don't know. But the fragrance is nice. The Parfum is better than the Eau de Parfum, and the Reserve is even better than the Parfum. But I think it's pretty quality here if you like this DNA. And the Parfum, as I said, is currently $175 for 100 ml. And then we've got Grey Vetiver Parfum for $159. That's actually quite a good deal. But to me, the Parfum edition of Grey Vetiver went very screechy metallic. I don't know if you guys get that or not. Yeah, very screechy. It's sharp. Kind of like the color of the bottle. Silver, metallic. It's a very, very aromatic, spicy, woody, grassy fragrance going into a very metallic direction. So it's a bit screechy for me. But I like its intensity. And if you like more intense fragrances and you don't mind the metallic qualities, I would go with this one. The original in the clear frosted bottle is a lot fresher. This is good though. That is Grey Vetiver Parfum. Next, this was actually a bit of a disappointment. I'm not the biggest fan of this fragrance. 100 ml for $167, or there's a tester for $140 for 100 ml. This is Bois Pacifique. So the name was a bit confusing for me. I thought this was going to be marine. Definitely not marine. It's woods, lots of woods. It's dry woods. The aromatic, part of woods. Like, I feel like there's cypress in this. It smells like cypress. It smells like warm spices. To me, it smells of autumn. Autumn dryness before the rain has come to Northern California. That's the kind of vibe it gives. Maybe that's what it is, Pacifique. It's giving me a little bit of incensey vibes as well. Some like aromatic. So it might be like caused from the peppery notes that are in here, because it's quite peppery as well. Peppery as in black pepper or maybe pink pepper. So that is Bois Pacifique. Let me know if you're a fan of it. It's not so exciting for me, you know? I mean, it's classy and gentlemanly, I think, for sure. The next fragrance is Oud Wood, another very popular fragrance. I kind of split it up where I did the first bunch to be some of my favorites, and then I included some other fragrances. But Oud Wood is very popular. That's why they've come out with a Parfum edition. They had the Intense. The Intense is also very animalic. I'm not going to smell this one, but I think it's a very tried and true DNA. A lot of copies of this. They were the originators, so a lot of people copied. It's a spicy take on a Western oud. The cardamom really stands out. It's quite woody. There might be a bit of patchouli in there. And that is currently 100 ml for $233. So it is part of the Tom Ford's private blend collection. What I was trying to say is I saw the price $233, and that at 100 ml versus the suggested retail price of the Noir Extreme Parfum is $300, and Oud Wood is in its original form, not the Parfum, but in its original form as 100 ml at a discounter is $233. So it's interesting the differences with prices. But as I said earlier, Noir Extreme Parfum for $157 is so totally worth it. To me, it is definitely much more potent than Oud Wood in the original when you compare it to the Noir Extreme Parfum, but they are so completely different fragrances. They don't smell alike. I was just noticing the price and how much the suggested retail price of Noir Extreme Parfum is compared to the discounted price of Oud Wood. Anyway, so yeah, Oud Wood is tried and true. It's a favorite of a lot. It's masculine leaning. It's woody, classy, gentlemanly, and spicy. But let's talk about Oud Wood Parfum. Oud Wood Parfum is taking the original Oud Wood into a much more concentrated direction. And it's currently 50 ml for $317. Yeah. I think the Parfum is quite good. If you thought that the original EDP was a bit fleeting, which I know a lot of people complain about, you can go with the Parfum. It's fairly similar, but I feel like they've added or thrown in deeper woods and ambery notes in the base. And even though the EDP might have amber, this you could actually smell it a lot stronger in the base. This is also nothing like the Oud Wood Intense that launched like back in the late 2010s. That was so animalic. They had thrown in castoreum. It was dirty. It was quite dirty and leathery. I have a bottle of it. It's good. I actually like it, but it's a little goes a long way with that one. But here, basically, it's just Parfum edition. Stronger, deeper, richer, more concentrated version of the original. Maybe with, like I said, like a bit more amber in the base as well to intensify it. So that is 50 ml for $317. It is pricey. It's a Parfum edition. It's also a Parfum edition of a private blend. So private blend collection fragrances are much more expensive. The Tom Ford Noir Extreme Parfum is part of the signature line. It's $300 suggested retail, but it is Parfum concentration, and you can get it now for $157. So that is a great price, by the way. But I think if you're going to get that, you should also definitely get the Noir EDP. I know it's not a Parfum concentration, but I think it has great longevity, but it's super classy. I love it. The next fragrance I'm going to talk about is Bitter Peach. Bitter Peach is 50 ml for $214. It's a boozy, peachy, patchouli, somewhat reminding of Angel. A little bit. Somewhat. I haven't smelled this in a long time. I haven't pulled it out. Wow. This wasn't as peachy as it is now. This bottle is from a while ago. And it's smelling so peachy now. I got a lot more patchouli from this before. It must have gotten concentrated in the bottle. I can see that patchouli developing in the base, though. It's slowly developing. I think the peach has gotten concentrated. It's super peachy all of a sudden. So this is 50 ml for $2.14, part of the Naughty collection of fragrances from Tom Ford. And of course, the new Fig Erotique is also part of the Naughty collection. But we got the second Naughty fragrance that launched. F Fabulous was the first. Then we got Lost Cherry. Lost Cherry, 100 ml for $3.30, 50 ml for $1.53. Whoa, my bottle is not spraying. Am I out? Well, I'm out. So, Lost Cherry, what does it smell like? It's a cherry liqueur, cherry, sweet, almondy, nutty, a bit tonka beanie kind of a gourmand. There's a little bit of a doughy quality behind the scenes as well. And I think the tonka is probably giving us that kind of a vibe. This started the whole cherry movement. I mean, before this, there was not any... Well, I mean, I'm assuming there were some cherry fragrances, but the amount of cherry fragrances that launched after Lost Cherry is so many. So damn many. Anyway, are you a fan? I'm thinking of putting together a cherry deep dive video. So I don't know why, but I'm feeling like it. And let me know if you're curious to watch that. But we'll definitely include this, but I have to get a new bottle. Although I do have a new bottle somewhere. I think I pulled the one that's empty. Lost Cherry, let me know. I had bought a Lost Cherry to replace this. I think I put it away and didn't get rid of the empty bottle. So I have to find it. I had found a great deal on it somewhere along the way. But Lost Cherry, as I said, 100 ml for $3.30 or 50 ml for $1.53. Then we've got Ébène Fumé. That one's almost going down as well. Ébène Fumé. Are you a fan? This grew on me more. But there's been this slew of kind of darker, smoky woods fragrances from Tom Ford, and they've done quite a bit of, that kind of almost remind me of one another. This is smoky, fiery, woody, spicy, and ambery. Ébène is referring to ebony wood. Fumé, I'm assuming, is referring to smoke or fire. Fumé is part of the word perfume, perfume. So all kind of connected. I think this smells like a fire being burned, maybe out in the woods or maybe at home. Definitely very fiery. Let me know if you're a fan of Ébène Fumé. So this Ébène Fumé currently 100 ml for $2.95, 50 ml for $1.71. Good prices. Definitely don't go directly to Neiman Marcus, even though they'll have deals there. But what I do usually when I'm shopping, new things I buy directly from Neiman Marcus. Older things I don't buy from there unless it's a really great deal. Like I contacted my sales associate at Neiman's. I said, when is Fig Erotique coming out? Haven't heard. But these things have been around. You can get them at the discounters. Get them at the discounters. Don't go direct. But as I said, sometimes they have good deals. Like I believe Black Friday deal at Neiman Marcus is $250 off of a $1,000 purchase. So it's kind of good. This is what I heard. Anyway, next up, it's Rose Prick, 50 ml for $194, 100 ml for $335. To me, it's like a cheaper style rose. This came out around the same time of Eau Capitale, and fragrances like that were kind of popping up, spicy rose fragrances. I believe this has turmeric or curcumin in it. It's got a lot of different types of roses. I think it has patchouli, so it's acting a bit like a chypre. And I love the bottle, the frost. Even though I'm not a big fan of pink, I do like the Tom Ford bottles. The big private blend collection bottles. I'm a fan. I collect them. Let me know if you're a fan of Rose Prick. It's not Rose and Oud for sure. It's more like a cheaper style. But let's talk about Myrrhe Mystère. 100 ml for $333, 50 ml for $205. I need to smell this one. It's been so long. Myrrhe. Who's a fan of myrrhe? Frankincense and myrrhe. Going back to the biblical times. Myrrhe is not as smoky, dark like frankincense is. Myrrhe is sweeter. Sometimes people say myrrhe also gives you like a fizzy Coca-Cola vibe in fragrances. I think in general spices do as well, like cloves and cinnamon and things like that. This one didn't win me over that much. But sometimes fragrances win me over later, you know? This is also part of the series of fragrances that the dark, smoky, woody, resinous kind of the themes that they did quite a bit of. Like even black lacquer is part of that. And I wanted black lacquer to be super potent, but it wasn't. This is actually kind of growing on me, this Myrrhe Mystère. Recently, I smelled a fragrance called Myrrhe from Headspace. I enjoy that myrrhe a little more because it's got cinnamon mixed with it, so it's kind of warm, spicy. This one is dark and mysterious. That's why it's called Myrrhe Mystère. Why am I getting some greenness behind the scenes, though? It's interesting. I haven't noticed the greenness with Myrrhe Mystère before. So it's 100 ml for $333, 50 ml for $205. But the next fragrance I'm talking about is Bois Marocain. This is the re-release of Bois Marocain. They brought it back. It was discontinued. They brought it back. This is 250 ml for $458. So this kind of bottle, a decanter bottle, is $458. But just keep in mind, there's no sprayer, and you're not going to get an atomizer with it. Let's quickly smell this. Let me know if you're a fan of Bois Marocain. I'm hoping... Oh, I did hear from somebody... Actually, yes, at Bergdorf Goodman I was at while I was in New York City. I was walking through the fragrance department where I bought the bottle of Bottega Veneta, big decanter bottle that I showed you guys. Somebody said there that Plum Japonais might be coming back, but in the higher end collection that only comes in these bottles. I think it's like they only sell them at specific boutiques. I don't know how true this is. Sometimes some of these sales associates are kind of clueless. I was asking them about Orange Taormina, but nobody knew about it. Anyway, Bois Marocain is a woody, spicy, dark, slightly smoky, maybe light resins kind of a fragrance. Next to the Myrrhe Mystère, it's actually kind of subdued. This one actually, I think I remember, needs skin. Because it's not jumping off the strip. But it is currently $458 for 250 ml decanter like this. 50 ml is $157, 30 ml is $147. We've got white suede, 100 ml for $225. I actually have white suede in a original brown colored decanter bottle like this. I hope it's good. I haven't dug into it for a long time. I hope it hasn't turned. And this is the clear bottle. So white suede is a musk fragrance for me, but it somehow gets a little animalic because the leathery touches is called suede. And it's actually quite gorgeous. Super sexy, musky, spicy, a bit baby powderish. I love that fragrance, actually. Today it's smelling uber amazing. Sometimes I smell it, it's like, doesn't smell that good. I don't know why. I think it needs probably my environment or the weather or something. Here today, it smells super, super awesome. I really love it. So 100 ml for $2.25 on the white suede. Next, a very polarizing fragrance, Vanilla Sex. This is 50 ml for $2.57. I don't even know if they have a 100 ml of the Vanilla Sex. I actually met this perfumer on my visit to Givaudan. It's Natalie Gracia-Chetto. Met her. I said, thank you. I'm one of the fans of your fragrances. I know it's a very polarizing fragrance. I actually really love this. It's like a nougat. It's like an almond nougat smell. Creamy, but has texture. Major nutty, almondy. And also, you know, lots of vanilla. Maybe it's somewhat one-dimensional, but does it for me. But also lately I've been layering it with Dusita's Tonka Latte. So since this is more of a dry texture, it gives it a bit more of a creamy, milky texture. And it intensifies the fragrance and the nuttiness comes out further. So it's a great layering duo. But with the Vanilla Sex, it's 50 ml for $2.57. I know I bought this for like $450 or something. Might have even been more now, $500 probably. All right, and then the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you guys about, it's a discontinued fragrance. So if you're in the market for this, get it now. It's Metallique, but it only comes in a 50 ml for $125. This got discontinued a couple of years ago, actually. And it's an aldehydic vanilla fragrance. My bottle is low. I do have a backup of this. I bought it as soon as I heard it was being discontinued. So it's aldehydic, but it's also musky. It's got lots of ambrette. I could totally smell the ambrette. And also smelling pepper, like black peppery notes. But I can totally pick up the vanilla and also the aldehydes in this. Musky, aldehydic, vanillic, spicy. I think it was, it has its fans. And some fans were disappointed, but that's Metallique. So those are all the deals at Tom Ford. Get these deals before they sell out. Again, I think since Oud Voyager is brand new, there's probably not much deals on it. So 50 ml for $275 or $200 for a tester, totally worth it. The $157 for the Extreme Parfum, Noir Extreme Parfum, totally worth it. Noir, the original, so worth having this. Do not skip out on this fragrance. It's one of the best men's fragrances ever made. I absolutely love this. And this is only $134 for 100 ml. You got to have it in your collection. It's so original as a smell, but it'll remind you of so many other fragrances, as I was saying. It reminds me of the Amber Pour Homme in the Eau de Parfum concentration from Prada, a little bit of Habit Rouge, a little bit of Narciso Rodriguez for him, maybe a few other things thrown in, but it's such an awesome scent. This is so good. So don't miss out on these deals. They'll be perfect for your collection, and of course, they'll make great gifts for somebody that you're buying fragrances for. They're happening now. I've got every single fragrance tagged. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Add a comment below. Please like the video and share it, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.